RNA are of three types: mRNA, tRNA and rRNA. So the appearance of canker, rashes all over the body are the symptoms of syphilis. Spinal cord, it is composed of outer white matter and inner grey matter. Mosses and ferns are amphibians of plant kingdom. Hello dear students. Welcome back to Karnataka CET 2013 Biology Paper Analysis. So, welcome back to Karnataka CET 2013 Biology Paper Analysis. Myself, B. Shobharani from the Department of Biology, Vidyashram Pre-University College, the Temple of Excellence. Moving on to the question number 1. The most unstable RNA is option A, messenger RNA, that is mRNA. Option B, soluble RNA. Option C, ribosomal RNA. And heterogeneous RNA, heterogeneous nuclear RNA, that is hnRNA. I think all of us know RNA are of three types: mRNA, tRNA and rRNA. Usually mRNA is generally unstructured and so it is much unstable. Whereas in case of the other mRNA, when RNA is in the form of a double helix like tRNA, that is transfer RNA, and lots of rRNA parts, then it is limited in movement and the hydroxy group can't easily reach the phosphorus. For this reason, the structure of RNA molecules are much stable. So, the most unstable RNA is mRNA, that is messenger RNA. So, option A, messenger RNA is correct. Option B, soluble RNA is wrong. Option C, ribosomal RNA is wrong. And option D, heterogeneous RNA is wrong. So, option A is the right answer. So, the most unstable RNA is the mRNA, messenger RNA. Moving on to the question number 2. Choose the right one which denotes genetic diversity. I repeat, choose the right one which denotes genetic diversity. Option A, chromosomes, nucleotides, genes, individuals, population. Option B, population, individuals, chromosomes, nucleotides, genes. Option C, that is genes, nucleotides, chromosomes, individuals and population. Option D, nucleotides, genes, chromosomes, individuals and population. So when we come across, first, what is nucleotides? I think all of us know that it is a combination of sugar plus 4 nitrogenous bases and phosphorus, right? So this forms a nucleotide. So this is the basic component of what? DNA. DNA is a double helical structure made up of nucleotides. And this is and what is DNA? DNA is nothing but gene, and gene is located where? On the chromosomes. And this chromosome is responsible for what? For individuals. Right, for individuals, and individuals will form what? Population. So, nucleotides first, then gene, then chromosomes, then individuals, then population. So, which is the option which is having a combination of nucleotides, genes, chromosomes, individuals and population? So let us see, the first one should be nucleotides. Here it is chromosomes, so it is wrong. Option B has population, no, it is wrong. Here also we can see genes, it is wrong. So here we can see option D, nucleotides, genes, chromosomes, individuals and population. So option D. So the right one which denotes genetic diversity is what? Nucleotides, genes, chromosomes, individuals and the population. So option D is correct. Moving on to the question number 3. The portion of an eukaryotic gene which is transcribed but not translated is. So I repeat the question. The portion of an eukaryotic gene which is transcribed but not translated is. Option A, exon. Option B, intron. Option C, cistron. And option D, codon. As we know, the exons are joined together by ligase after the removal of introns, which in turn it forms a continuous strand of DNA. And the coding regions, as we know, they are known as exons, while the non-coding regions are known as introns. And these introns have the nonsense codons, which is not going to code for any amino acid, nonsense codon, which cannot be translated. So these are trimmed off by a process known splicing. So the portion of an eukaryotic gene which is transcribed but not translated is what? Introns. The answer is introns. So exon, option A, exon is wrong, and option B, that is intron, is correct. Option C, cistron, is wrong, and option D, codon, is wrong. So option B is correct. So the portion of an eukaryotic gene which is transcribed but not translated is intron. Moving on to the question number 4. The appearance of canker, rashes all over the body are the symptoms of. Option A, gonorrhea, which is a sexually transmitted disease, AIDS, which is also a sexually transmitted disease, syphilis, which is also a sexually transmitted disease. Fever is not a sexually transmitted disease. It's just a disorder in the body. So all these features, that is the appearance of canker, rashes all over the body, are the symptoms of, as I said, it is sexually transmitted infection by a spirochete bacterium called Treponema pallidum. And this causes what? The sexually transmitted disease called syphilis. Right? So the appearance of canker, rashes all over the body are the symptoms of syphilis. So option A, wrong, gonorrhea wrong. Option B, AIDS is wrong. Option C, syphilis is correct. Option D, fever is wrong. So option C is correct. So the appearance of canker, rashes all over the body are the symptoms of syphilis. Moving on to question number 5. Read the statements A and B. Choose the right one. What does statement A state? Synthesis of mRNA takes place in 5-3- direction. Statement B, reading of mRNA is always in 3-5- direction. Option A, both the statements are wrong. Option B, statement A is wrong and B is correct. Option C, statement B is wrong and A is correct. Option D, both the statements A and B are correct. As we know, the antisense strand of DNA, which runs from 3- to 5- direction, act as a template for RNA synthesis, right, by an enzyme called RNA polymerase. So the RNA is always synthesized in 5-3- direction. Correct. This is correct. Right. But during translation, the ribosomes attach to the 5- end, not to the 3- end. It attaches to the 5- end of the mRNA and transcribe till what? Till 3- end. So the reading of mRNA will always be in 5-3- direction. But here it is given as 3-, but here it is given as 3-5- direction. So this is wrong. So statement A is correct but B is wrong. So which is the option which is having statement A is correct but B is wrong? Now let us see. Both the statements are wrong. Option A is wrong. statement A is wrong and B is correct. Wrong. Here statement B is wrong. Correct. And A is correct. Option C is correct. Here both the statements A and B are correct. Option wrong. So here option C is correct. Synthesis of mRNA takes place in 5-3- direction is correct. A is correct. And reading of mRNA is always in 3-5. No, it is in 5-3- direction. So this is wrong. So option A is wrong. So C is the correct answer. Moving on to the question number 6. Assimilatory power is option A NADPH2, option C ATP, option C ATP and NADPH2 and FADH2. Right. Now, what is assimilatory power? As we know, ATP and NADPH2 are generally the sources of instant energy in a particular cell, which usually helps in what? Helps in regeneration or assimilation of several metabolic substances in a cell. So, the inorganic phosphate helps in what? Helps in the formation of regeneration of ATP, and NADH also regenerates ATP. It's one molecule provide what? 3 ATP, which in turn provide what you call the power of assimilation to the cell. So it is ATP and NADPH2. So which are the assimilatory power? That is ATP and NADPH2. So option A, only NADPH2 is there. So this is wrong. B, only ATP is there. So it is wrong. Option C, both ATP and NADPH2 is there. Correct. So FADH2 option D is wrong. So assimilatory power is what? ATP and NADPH2. So option C is correct. Option C is correct. So question number 7. E. coli cleaves the DNA strands to produce what? Blunt ends or sticky ends or satellite ends or ORI replication end. As we know, E. coli is a restriction endonuclease enzyme which is isolated from the species of E. coli bacteria, and E. coli produce what? Sticky ends. So it produces what? Sticky ends. So option A called blunt end is wrong. Option B sticky ends is correct. Option C satellite end is wrong. Option D ORI replication end is wrong. So option B is correct. So E. coli cleaves the DNA strand to produce what? To produce the sticky ends. Moving on to question number 8. Read the statement A and B and identify the correct choice from those given. Statement A. Women are at the peak of conception, that is becoming pregnant, on the 14th day of ovulation. Ovulation is nothing but the release of the mature ova or the egg. Mature ova or egg is called ovulation. Statement B. Vasectomy is the method normally employed to avoid conception in females. What about the statement, whether statement A is right or wrong? Women are at the peak of conception on the 14th day of ovulation. So it is not the same. Ovulatory phase is not the same in all the women. So as we call that ovulatory period as what? Fertile window. We use the word called fertile window, and this fertile window depends on the length of the menstrual cycle, which varies from a woman to women. It is not the same. So we cannot exactly say that it is on the 14th day and the conception will happen on that 14th day. So fertile window, as I said, fertile window is what? It is the day when the egg is released from the ovary, where we use the word called ovulation, and even it might be the 5 day beforehand also. So this statement is wrong. This statement is wrong. What about the second statement? Yes, of course, even that is wrong. Vasectomy is a method normally employed in males, and in females it is tubectomy. So male sterilization is called vasectomy and female sterilization is called tubectomy. So even this statement is wrong. So both the statements are wrong. Statement A is wrong and statement B is also wrong. Option A, statement A is wrong, B is right, is wrong. Option B, statement A is right, B is wrong. Option C, both the statements are right, is wrong. Option D, both the statements are wrong, is correct. So option D is the right answer. Both the statements are wrong. Moving on to the question number 9. The sequence of nitrogenous bases in one strand of DNA. So one strand of DNA is what? 3' TAC GCG ACG 5'. So what will be the complementary strand should be? So what the complementary strand of the complementary DNA strand should have what nitrogenous bases? So let us see here. If it is 3', it has to be 5'. T means A means T, C means G. So this is ATG. Then G means C, C means G, G means C. Then A means T, C. Complementary bases, as you know, A base pairs with double bond with T, C with triple bond G, or vice versa. So this is called the base pair rule. As we know, this is called base pair rule, right? So A base pairs with two double bonds with T, that is adenine with thymine, and cytosine with guanine, or guanine with cytosine, or thymine with vice versa also. So here, if it is A, it is T, C means G, G means C. And here 5' means it is 3'. So which is the option? This is the complementary strand for this. So one strand is this one. The complementary strand should be this one. Now let us see which is the option which is having first 5' ATG. So here we see 5' is correct, but AUG wrong. First option only is wrong. Here we can see 3', but ATG is correct, but 3' is wrong. So this is also wrong. Here it is UAC. So if it is DNA, it is not RNA. So where will U come? As we know, in case of RNA, A is base paired with U, uracil. That is thymine of DNA is replaced by uracil of RNA. So here this is also wrong. Here we'll see the last option D, 5' correct, ATG correct, CGC correct, TGC correct, 3' correct. So option D is correct. So option D is the complementary DNA strand, that is 5' ATG, CGC, TGC, 3'. Moving on to question number 10. Which one of the following statement is correct regarding spinal cord? It is option A, it is composed of outer gray matter and inner white matter. It is composed of outer white matter and inner gray matter. Option C, it is composed of outer gray matter and inner colorless matter. Option D, it is composed of gray matter only. As we know that the brain and the spinal cord constitutes the CNS, that is the central nervous system. Central nervous system. And as we know that the spinal cord extends from where? From the foramen magnum of the second lumbar region. So in cross section, the spinal cord, as we know, it looks butterfly shape with white matter in the peripheral region which contains neural. So and which, while the periphery will have what? The gray matter. So it is composed of what? Outer white matter and inner gray matter. So option B is correct. So it is composed of white matter and inner white matter is wrong. It is composed of outer white matter correct and inner gray matter correct. It is composed of outer gray matter and inner colorless matter is wrong. D, it is composed of gray matter is wrong. So option B is correct. So which one of the following statement is correct regarding spinal cord? It is composed of outer white matter and inner gray matter. Moving on to the 11th question. Match the entries in column 1 with those of column 2 and choose the correct answer. Here we can see the names of, and here you can see in column 2 the scientists who discovered that. So column 1 is about the discoveries and column 2 is about the discoverers. Now let us see. Restriction endonuclease was discovered by Arbour. Then polymerase chain reaction, that is Kary Mullis. Then fingerprinting, Alec Jeffrey. Then monoclonal antibodies, that is Collar and Milstein. So A is to R, B is to S, C is to Q, and D is to P. So this is the right answer. So A matches with R, B with S, C with Q, and D with P. Now let us see the options. Here A with R, here also A with R, okay. Here A with R, here also A with R, okay. Then here A with Q is wrong, here A with Q is wrong. So next should be B with S. Here you can see B with S, correct. Here B with Q is wrong. So C with Q, here you can see C with Q. Here C with S is wrong. And here D with P is correct. Here D with P is wrong. So option A is correct. So option A is the right, that is the entries in column 1 with the choose the correct answer. Option A is correct. Moving on to question number 12. Which taxonomic term may be suggested for any rank in the classification? I repeat, which taxonomic term may be suggested for any rank in the classification? Option A, class. Option B, order. Option C, species. And option D, taxon. All of us know that taxon can be defined as what? The group of organisms occupying a particular category or a rank. Like for example, class, order, species. Those are all the examples for what? Taxonomic category or rank. So we say that taxon is the term for the taxonomic category. So which taxonomic term may be suggested for any rank in the classification? It is taxon. So the word taxon is to be used. So option A, class, is wrong. Option B, order, is wrong. Option C, species, is wrong. Option D, taxon, is correct. So option D is correct. Which taxonomic term may be suggested for any rank in the classification? It is taxon. Moving on to question number 13. In one of the techniques of recombinant insulin production, the genes for alpha and beta polypeptides were inserted into the plasmid by the side of option A, antibiotic resistance gene, option B, LAGZ promoter gene, option C, beta galactosidase enzyme, and option D, ORI. As we know that the recombinant insulin can be produced by the insertion of the genes for alpha and beta polypeptides into a plasmid by the side of beta galactosidase enzyme. So it is with beta galactosidase enzyme, which regulates what? The gene expression. So the gene expresses itself after transformation into a host DNA and leads to the production of what? Recombinant insulin. So in one of the techniques of recombinant insulin production, the gene for alpha and beta polypeptides were inserted into the plasmid by the side of beta galactosidase enzyme. So option A, antibiotic resistance enzyme, is wrong. Option B, LAGZ promoter gene, is wrong. And option C is correct. Beta galactosidase by the side of beta galactosidase enzyme gene is correct. Then option D, ORI, is wrong. So option C is correct. Option C is correct. Moving on to question number 14. Which one does not belong to Monera? Option A, slime molds. Option B, mycoplasma. Option C, Eubacteria, and option D, Archaebacteria. As we know, Mycoplasma, Eubacteria, Archaebacteria, they all belong to Monera. But as we know, Monerans is the simplest living organism which is prokaryotic, unicellular and autotrophic. So obviously Mycoplasma, Eubacteria and Archaebacteria belong to Monera. But slime molds are eukaryotic. They are not prokaryotic. They are eukaryotic and they colonize to form what? Multicellular structures. Here they are unicellular. Monerans are prokaryotic, unicellular. Here they are eukaryotic multicellular structures. So obviously slime molds belong to which group? They are protists. So which one does not belong to Monera? Which one does not belong to Monera? It is slime molds. So this is wrong. They are also Monerans. They are also Monerans and they are also Monerans. So option A is correct. So option A, that is which one does not belong to Monera? Slime molds. Moving on to question number 15. The diagram given below represent the TS of dicot leaf. Identify the parts labeled as A, B, C and D which denote their functions and choose the correct one given below. So here you can see A is nothing but stomata which will help in what? Transpiration. And here we can see that chlorenchyma tissue helps in what? B is photosynthesis. And option D, that is conduction. C is what? Conduction. Xylem and phloem. And here also you can see stomata, it is also what? Transpiration. So option A, that is motor action is wrong. Here also motor action is wrong. Here it is correct. Here it is correct. Then B, photosynthesis. Here it is correct. Here it is wrong. So obviously this option is wrong. C, conduction. It is not motor action. It is transpiration. Again, it helps in what? Transpiration. Helps in transpiration. So A is transpiration, B is photosynthesis, C is conduction and D is again transpiration. Motor action you come across in monocot leaf. Monocot leaf, the motor cells will help you to roll off the leaf lamina, particularly in xeric conditions where you come across the plants growing in desert areas. So they help in motor cells which will help in rolling off. But dicot leaf, it helps in transpiration. As you know, dicot leaf has more number of stomatal openings in the lower epidermis which helps in transpiration than the upper epidermis. So it is not motor action, it is transpiration. So it is D is transpiration. So this, it is not motor action, wrong, it is transpiration. So option C is correct. Moving on to question number 16. Which of the following tissue is not a component of complex tissue? So we know that complex tissues are xylem and phloem. So xylem is made up of what? Tracheids, trachea, xylem, parenchyma, then xylem fibers. So here phloem is made up of what? Sieve cells, sieve tubes with companion cells, then phloem fibers, then phloem parenchyma. Fibers are nothing but what? Sclerenchyma. Here also fibers are nothing but sclerenchyma. So what is this question? Which of the following tissue is not a component? So we come across parenchyma, we come across sclerenchyma, but do we come across collenchyma? No. Tracheids we come across, right? So parenchyma, correct, which is not. So parenchyma is there, collenchyma is not there. So what is not there? Collenchyma. We come across parenchyma, we come across sclerenchyma, we come across tracheids. So Which of the following tissue is not a component of complex tissue? It is B, colon-chyma. Moving on to question number 17. Mosses and ferns are thallophytes of plant kingdom, option A. Option B, angiosperms of plant kingdom. Option C, gymnosperms of plant kingdom. And option D, amphibians of plant kingdom. As we know, moss belongs to bryophyte, fern belong to pteridophyte. So as we know, the whole of the plant kingdom is divided into thallophytes, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Whereas bryophytes and pteridophytes need water for fertilization, external fertilization. So they are called as what? Amphibians of the plant kingdom. So mosses and ferns are thallophytes of plant kingdom, wrong. Angiosperms of plant kingdom, wrong. Then gymnosperms of plant kingdom, wrong. They are amphibians of plant kingdom, correct. Amphibians of plant kingdom. So option D is correct. Mosses and ferns are amphibians of plant kingdom. Moving on to question number 18. Plasmodesmata is usually observed between sieve tubes and bast fibers, bast fiber. Then B, trachea and phloem fibers. It is bast fibers, B-A-S-T, not B-E-S-T. It is B-A-S-T, bast fiber. Phloem is also called as bast. Xylem is also called as wood. Xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. Then seed tubes and companion cells. So all of us know that plasmodesmata are nothing but called cytoplasmic connections, right? So as we know that seed tubes and companion cells are integral components of phloem, and in leaves particularly, companion cells help move the sugar that is produced by photosynthesis from the mesophyll tissue to the sieve tube elements by plasmodesmata. As I said, they act as what? Cytoplasmic connections by passing the materials. So here you can find that plasmodesmata is usually observed between sieve tubes and companion cells, which are the elements of phloem. So option A, sieve tube and bast fiber, wrong. Then trachea and phloem fiber, wrong. Option C, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers, wrong. Sieve tubes and companion cell is right. So option D is correct. Option plasmodesmata is usually observed between sieve tubes and companion cells. Moving on to the next question, question number 19. The embryo sac of an angiosperm is made up of 8 cells, 7 cells, 8 nuclei, 8 nuclei, 8 cells and 7 nuclei. As we know, the embryo sac is made up of what? 7 cells and 8 nucleate stage. We can call it as 8 nuclei. So if we find 3 antipodal cells, then in 3, that is in 3 egg, 1 egg and 2 synergids. So 6, right? Then 2 polar nuclei, 2 polar nuclei. So 3, 3, 6, 7, 8. So it is 7 cells. So this will be 1. So 7 cell, 8 nuclei. 8 nuclei. So option A, 8 cells is wrong. Option B, correct. 7 cells, 8 nuclei. Correct. Option D, only 8 nuclei, wrong. Option D, 8 cells and 7 nuclei is wrong. So option B is correct. The embryo sac of an angiosperm is made up of 7 cells. That is why it is called 7 cells, 8 nuclei stage. Moving on to question number 20. Cork cambium of dicot stem originates from option A, dedifferentiated parenchyma cells of cortex, dedifferentiated collenchyma cells of cortex, and option C, parenchyma cells of medullary ray. Then option D, parenchyma cells of pericycle. As we know, secondary growth occurs usually in the cortex of dicot stem, where we use the word called extrastellar secondary growth. And as you know, it takes place by the formation of a ring of meristematic tissue called cork cambium, or we use the word called phellogen. And it is formed by the dedifferentiation of collenchyma cells present in the cortex. present in the collenchyma, de-differentiation of collenchyma cells present in the cortex. So option A, de-differentiated parenchyma cells of cortex is wrong. De-differentiated collenchyma cells is correct. Then C, parenchyma cells of medullary wrong. Option is wrong. Option D, parenchyma cells of pericycle is wrong. So cork cambium of dicot stem originates from what? De-differentiated collenchyma cells of cortex. So option B is correct.